Hey everyone! So I get a lot of questions on my stream about different things related to Roadhog, such as how to one-shot certain heroes, or when to use his left click or his right click. So I decided to make a guide to cover all these things, from some of the basics to some more advanced techniques I use in my own play. And I was originally planning on doing this all as one video, but I decided it'd be easier to break it into parts so I can go more in depth on different sections. And this one will be focusing on his different abilities and how to use them. So one of the more common questions I get on my stream is whether or not to use Roadhog's left click or right click after hooking someone. And you should always use his left click because his right click only does 50 damage until about 9 meters away, and at that point it then detonates and spreads out. You'll actually notice a bloom of smoke, which kind of acts as like a visual indicator for his right click to show the distance that you should be using it at. It can take a bit of practice getting the timing and the distance on it right, but with enough practice you should be able to consistently one-shot 200 HP targets at a medium range. Both his left click and his right click do 225 damage, but his right click also doesn't have any damage fall off, and it also has a tighter spread, making it better for medium to long range, and also for spamming shields at a distance. A piece of advice that I commonly give on my stream is to abuse Roadhog's self-heal, and by this I mean you should try and use it as much as possible whenever you're weak, because for one, it heals you for 300 HP in less than 2 seconds, but it also builds your ult charge whenever you use it. Now, you shouldn't always be using it. Like if you have a support player near you who's trying to build their ult, you should normally let them heal you up so they can build it as long as there's no enemies nearby. But the ability also allows you to play kind of like a flank role that I've been known to play, because it gives you sustain without needing to be healed by supports or without having to play near health kits. It's also worth noting that if you're healing near enemies, you should be turning away from them to make it harder for them to headshot you while healing, and that his heal can also be interrupted by any forms of CC, such as McCree's flashbang. So for the final part of this video, I want to go over the techniques that I personally use for one-shotting some of the heroes that most people seem to have issues with. The 3 heroes that I'll be touching on are going to be Reaper, Ana, and Mei. The reason that these 3 heroes are harder than most are because they have abilities that can make them invulnerable, or in Ana's case, put you to sleep, and that the way it normally pulls them towards you when you hook them. For Ana and Reaper, I actually use the same technique for both, which is simply just walking forward after hooking, and then shooting and meleeing. The big thing is you have to make sure you don't wait too long before you do that, or else they'll be able to either break free or sleep you. Mei, on the other hand, can be a bit harder, as the only consistent way I've been able to find is to do the 90 degrees trick, where you turn sideways and hold strafe right after the hook hits, as this pulls her closer to you, allowing you to hit her with all of the pellets from your left click. You still want to melee after doing this just to ensure that you've done enough damage to kill her, but with enough practice you should be able to get this down fairly consistently. The same trick can actually be used to one-shot hooking Ana's from above, as you'll normally run into the same issues with Mei, where it won't pull her close enough. If done properly, it should actually pull her onto the ledge with you, which you can then walk forward briefly before performing the combo. And for the last point, I'll bring up the golden rule of Roadhog 1v1, which is to never hook first, unless the enemy's Roadhog hook is on cooldown, or that they are weak enough for you to one-shot. The reason being is that if you hook them first, they'll be able to trade shots with you, and then hook you back and kill you before you can shoot again. The best technique for 1v1ing in a hog duel is to try and hit them with a right click before hooking them in, and you should always ensure that you go for a headshot whenever you're fighting them to guarantee the kill. So that's going to be it for this video. For the next part, I plan on touching on some of the counters and heroes he synergizes well with, along with some general strategy and team compositions that he works with.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my stream, and I plan on uploading a lot more to my YouTube in the future. And you can also check out my Twitter if you want to see any of the random stuff I have to say on that.